Welcome to this video on how to appear for a job interview. There are many types of interviews. Sometimes you might have a telephonic interview or an online one. You may also have a face-to-face interview. Here are 10 questions with answers on how to face an interview which tests your situational and behavioral skills. There are also technical interviews which will talk about your subject or the specialization needed in a job. I'm not using any of those here. I'm only using a common pattern of interview which is very often called the HR interview. That is sometimes the first step before they decide whether you will go on to the next level of the interview. Let us see them one by one. 10 questions with how to answer them. The first question. The interviewers, if it's an interview board or a single interviewer, will ask you, tell us about yourself or tell me about yourself. Many people, especially freshers, start by reciting their family history and everything else which is not relevant to the job. So when you introduce yourself, this is your self-introduction. You must remember that it is very essential for you to introduce only those aspects of your qualification or experience which are relevant to the job you have applied for. Everything else is not relevant at all. If you want to talk about the inspiration which you've got from your parents or others, then you must integrate it into the position which you are applying for. Otherwise, it is not a good introduction. Of course, you need to tell them what is your qualification. You need to tell them what is your experience and what you are good at. But put it all in such a way that it suits the position which you have applied for. That will give the interviewer enough chance to ask you many questions based on your introduction. Now the interviewers are getting to know you because they don't know anything about you. So if they ask you about your achievement or achievements in plural, then you must again think of those achievements which will tell them that you will be able to do the job, the position they are offering you well. Unless you put them together, suppose you have great achievements in the field of sport. You are a good basketball player. Now, have you researched the company enough to know that they have a lot of recreational activities where basketball is one of the tournaments they have regularly? Then you can mention it because that's an achievement and that is relevant. You might have other achievements like standing first in class or being a leader of a project or a group. There, if you have achieved something which is extraordinary, which is better than what others have achieved, then you can mention it here. This is to get to know you. This is to find out how confidently you can answer, how quickly you can think, and how well you can connect the job and the achievement which you have. When they ask you about your strength, the interviewers are trying to find out whether you are the right kind of person who will be able to grow in the position which they are offering you. Because your strength is something which you have to increase day by day. You can't say this is my strength, it will remain the same forever. It doesn't happen like that. Therefore, mention those strengths or mention something which is unique to yourself. Many people say, I'm hardworking. Now, everybody is hardworking, obviously. When you take up a position, you have to work hard. Or you say, I'm a quick learner. These are very common strengths which are mentioned in interviews. Don't do that. Try to think carefully. What is the strength which you have which will be suitable for this job? Unless you decide from before, unless you get ready from before, you will not be able to answer this. And the more unique your strengths are and more relevant to the job you're taking up, that is more impressive than just giving casual words by saying, I'm very positive, I can work, in any situation. These are the common answers, the usual, textbook answers. Don't do that. Try to be original. When you are asked about any weakness you have, one variety will say that, oh, I have no weakness. That is not true. Every human being has a weakness. Acknowledging your weakness is very important to show that you are a mature person. Remember that they're trying to get to know you, so you have to show your maturity. Choose a weakness which you put it in a very positive way by saying that I had this weakness, but now I'm working hard to overcome it. Or you say, I had these weaknesses earlier and now I have overcome some of them. I'm trying to overcome the others also. Here you can see that there are many types of weaknesses which you actually may have. One of them is postponing everything. You say, oh, not today, tomorrow. That will not be a very nice thing to do when you are working, because you have to finish on time. That is important. Whatever assignment you take up needs to be done on time. So you say, earlier I used to put off everything, but by the time I came to the final part of my education, I realized that is not good. So I tried to do things exactly on time. And today I'm happy to say that much before the deadline, I'm able to complete because I'm self-motivated. When you use a weakness like this, it shows them that you acknowledge your negatives and you try to make them positive. Remember, your strengths you should enhance and your weaknesses you should control. That is the sign of a good person, and that is the kind of employee these people are looking for. After the first 4 introductory questions, now here is a direct question number 5. What makes you suitable for this job? Here, you have to research the position. If you get a chance, talk to people who are already working there. Find out from them what is expected in the job which you have applied for, and then you frame your answer. Please remember that you have to give a few points of suitability. Many people have been asking for a video on job interview. Each of them has a different kind of interview. Somebody says, I want to do a teacher interview. So you want to become a teacher? Choose those qualities which will make you a good teacher. Another person said, I want to apply as an air hostess. And what would be the suitable qualities of an air hostess? Something like empathy, something like the ability to understand and help people. So in this way, every job or every interview requires you to say why you are suitable for that. Suppose you're applying for different positions in different companies. For each of them, the answer has to be different. Please don't have a prepared answer which you can give to everybody, because with the change of position, your suitability, the qualities of your suitability also change. So choose those. The best way to appear for an interview is to be prepared with the standard usual questions. That is why I have prepared this video. Have you any experience of leadership? Question number 6, where they are trying to find out about your attitudes and behavior. You might say, no, I don't, I'm so sorry, I'm very shy. These are answers which will immediately remove you from the list of the final, chosen candidates who will be again interviewed in other ways. But if you have, original answers to this, you say that as an elder of 4 siblings, I was born a leader, because right from the beginning, my parents kept telling me that I should moderate my behavior so that the other siblings follow it. I should always lead them to do what is right and to do it in a very creative way. We would spend a long time playing games where I would take a leadership role. Even with my neighbors, I had a leadership role even from childhood. In this way, you can innovate. In school or in college, I had many opportunities to be a leader, a class leader or a group leader or a project leader. In this way, try to think of your entire experience. Suppose you're already working and now it is an interview for a change of job, etc. Then you can also mention whatever leadership roles you played in your earlier job, remembering that you must put it in a way which impresses the person by finding out that you have the qualities of leadership. You take initiative, you are innovative, your communication is good, then you have commitment, you have a positive way of handling a team. All these qualities you need to identify in your experience, whichever you're explaining to them, to show that you have leadership qualities. Any job has a lot of stress. If you are not able to handle stress, then you won't be good for that position. Therefore, if they ask you how you will handle a stressful situation, you must know what are the methods in which stress happens, what is good stress, that is called eustress, what is not good, that is called distress, and how, if you have bad stress, if you have stress that is interfering with your job, then how will you solve that? How will you handle that situation? Here you have to say that, you might have to control your stress, then what would you do? Or you might have to, immediately handle it. If you have problems in speaking, then it's a stressful situation. You drink a little glass of water, or you just say, give me a moment, take a deep breath, and then go on. In this way, you have to think of a situation and tell them how you handled it. It might be a real situation, or it might be only a hypothetical situation, a situation which you are just putting yourself into. It might not have really happened. You might have learned it from somebody who's good at stress management. So if you can say this, then it will be impressive. You must show that stress does not defeat you. You must show that you are able to defeat stress. What are the steps you would take to make your mind strong so that stress doesn't weaken your mind? These are the examples which the interviewer is looking for. Problem solving and decision making are very important skills which any position requires. You might have small day-to-day problems, or even without a problem, you have to take important steps, make some decisions which will impact your job, your company, your colleagues, everybody. If you cannot make up your mind, or if you give up when you have a problem, you say, oh, somebody else should solve it, then you are not going to ace that interview. You must find out some problem in your own life, real or hypothetical, which you have solved. A problem which you encountered and you solved. Or a decision which you made. Was it the right decision? If it wasn't right, how are you adjusting to that? How are you living with that decision? These are all areas which you need to explore. Before you go for the interview, you have to think about these things. That is why these days they say that right from school, we have to teach these skills to children. To be empathetic, to be able to build relationships, to be able to help each other. These are very important. And in problem solving, decision making, or conflict resolution, you have colleagues who are in real conflict. As a leader, how would you solve it? As another colleague, as a team member, how would you solve it? So think about these things. To test whether you have goals, you have the desire to go forward, or you just want to stay in one place, that you are active and dynamic, or you are very laid back, they ask you a question like this. Where do you see yourself 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? These things have to be planned before you go for the interview, unless you have an idea in your mind about what you're going to say to these common questions which I have listed. You will stammer and stutter, you will hesitate, and you will have a long silence where no answer, no thought comes to your mind, and you won't succeed. Therefore, it is very essential to prepare for these aspects. Unless you prepare well by saying that this is my plan, I want to work for some time, then I want to advance my qualifications, I want to do some certifications, then I want to go higher. These are the plans. In this way, you should have a step-by-step process for this, because planning and goal setting are very important for every position. You cannot say that I have no plan at all. And if you say that, then of course you don't get a chance to go into the next level of the interview. This, as I told you, is just one level of the interview. This is the last question in our video today, where the interviewer asks you, do you have any questions for us? If there's a group of interviewers, they'll say us, or do you have any questions for me? If it's a single interviewer. Now here, if you're a fresher, the usual thing to say is, oh no, I have no questions. Or what question can I have? That is not right. You need to know about the position, what are the hours, when will they let you know whether you have been selected or not, whether you have gone into the next level, how important your position will be, what exactly will be assigned to you, what are the growth opportunities in that position. These are some of the areas you can explore. If you know people who are working in this place or who are working in similar positions in your network, because networking is very important, then you find out from them what is it that they would like to ask if they were given a chance, or was it that you should ask when you get the chance. Usually in good colleges where placement is done, the alumni, the older students come and tell you that in our job interview, this is what we did. So in this way, if we take help from people who have appeared for similar interviews, then we can ask them some logical questions. These questions should be framed in a very polite way. You should not appear as though you are demanding answers. You can say that it would be nice if I could know, and then you continue. So it would be helpful to me if you can tell me, and then you can ask whatever you want. In this way, when you do, you get benefited. So try practicing all this. I have given you an outline. Now each individual person has to fill that outline with personal information, because they want to know who they are hiring. And that is why I have given you all these ideas to help you. All the best for your interview, and thank you.